Joining me now is a UFC welterweight contender who's coming off a big unanimous decision win over Demian Maia in the co-main event of UFC 119 in Sao Paulo, Brazil this past weekend. Please welcome Colby Covington to the show. Now, Colby, my first question for you is, this was actually a pretty entertaining fight. It was back and forth. Maia did well early, seemingly winning the first round on the feet, but he started to tire, and then you started to take over. You outpointed him. You nearly finished him at the end. It wasn't, a grind fest, so to speak. How were you expecting this fun of a fight?
Yeah, I'm a man of my word. I made a promise before the fight that, I was going to go for it on Demian Maia. I was going to make it an exciting fight. I was going to give the fans what they want, So, I wanted to go out there and just come forward and, and just put on a good show for the fans. So, that's what I expected. I knew Demian Maia was not going to take me down, so I knew it was going to be a striking bout. I didn't feel like taking him down. I wanted to take his head off, and I did a good job of doing that. So, I'm glad I could go forward and put on a good, exciting fight for the fans.
Did you expect Maia to fade? He visibly got tired. He went out there really aggressive in the first round, and he didn't look for a takedown too quickly, which was a bit surprising. He just looked to almost knock you out, and he, of course, wasn't successful, but he ended up tiring himself. Were you expecting that you would be able to take over late? Is that sort of how you thought the fight would play out?
I've known that since the beginning, that no one can hang with my pace, my pressure, The same thing with what I did with Tyron Woodley in the gym, and he would break inside 3 rounds. He's a quitter. He's a breaker. But at the end of the day, I know that my cardio is on a different level than these guys. So I knew eventually that he would gas, that my Demian Maia would gas. And, I'm looking forward to 5-round fights. Those are going to suit me even better.
Have you had a chance to watch it back, or I know you've been traveling. Have you not quite had the time to watch it again, or watch it?
Yeah, I haven't been able to watch it yet. I usually don't watch my fights too often back again. I watch it maybe once, but yeah, I haven't been able to watch it. I had been traveling from Brazil, so I just got in.
If you do go back and watch it, do you think you will see that your striking has improved? Do you feel like your striking was better than, say, even just in your last fight? Is your striking gradually getting better, do you think?
Yeah, my striking's been a high level for a long time, but I've never shown you guys. It's too easy to take these guys down and beat them up. It's just too easy. I'm going to retire my career being the least hit fighter in the UFC. So, I know my striking's getting better and it's there, and that's why, I'm a well-rounded fighter. I have a game plan for each fighter. That was my game plan. Go forward on Demian Maia, put on a good striking clinic, put on a good fight for the fans, and I'm continually getting better as a martial artist. Each and every day I step in that gym. I'm young, I'm hungry, and I'm only getting best. The best is in front of me. My prime is coming up. Guys like Tyron Woodley, he's fading. His career is at an end.
Now, I mentioned that you closed as the underdog, very slightly plus 100, but as I said, you all fight week, you were the betting favorite. Do you feel like the odds makers are starting, and people in general are starting to respect you a bit more and what you have to offer and your capabilities and your skill level, just because not a lot of welterweights in this world will be favored over Demian Maia. Up until last minute, you were. Do you think you're starting to get the respect you deserve?
I've always had the respect I deserve from the odds makers and the women. I've said that for a while, that the only people that like me in this game are the odds maker and the women. So, I knew I was going to get my respect from the odds makers. They know how good I am. Everybody in the world knows how good I am. Tyron Woodley knows how good I am. I'd probably be like a 2-1 favorite over Woodley if we fought.
Very interesting. Okay, so everything or what everybody is talking about is your post-fight interview. You definitely you lashed out to Brazil, to say the least, and that's sort of what as we said right off the top, you're happy to be out of Brazil. You called Brazil a dump. You called everybody that lives there filthy animals. What was the walk back to backstage and the aftermath of the fight, going back to the hotel, leaving the hotel yesterday, going to the airport? What was that like?
It was entertaining. I loved it. I did exactly what I set out to do. I drew emotion from these guys. I'm not here to make friends. Obviously the walk back, you got Lyoto Machida screaming at me before his fight, yelling, "Fuck you," his whole team yelling at me, these Brazilians backstage yelling. It is what it is. I didn't come here to make friends. I'm here to be the world champion. I'm here to take over. This is my division now. So, I'm not here to make friends. This is business now.
Now, I think it's...
Brazil
Go ahead.
I was just gonna finish with Brazil was a dump, but this show's cool. This show's not a dump.
All right. Now I feel like before the fight had happened, before you did defeat Maia, going after his hometown or his home country, the fight or the place you're fighting in, it's a smart tactic, because if you want to sort of be the heel and want the crowd to hate you, that's certainly calling them a dump is certainly a good start, and you were successful. I mean, no, even if you didn't say those things, they still would have been saying, "Oh, you will die" and all of that. That's just typical. But you definitely were able to get under the crowd's skin before the fight. But why did you continue afterwards? Just because I feel like you're going after Tyron Woodley. Now, moving forward, the UFC welterweight champion is who you want. That's the only person on your mind. Why, if you're trying to upset an entire crowd, maybe go after St. Louis or go after just Woodley? Why did you keep the focus on Brazil, or share the focus on Brazil? Because you did mention Woodley, of course.
When did I keep mentioning Brazil? Brazil's in the past. I'm not even talking about Brazil anymore.
In your post-fight interview, right after the fight.
I didn't do a post-fight interview.
No, in the cage.
Because I felt disrespected on the walkout to the cage. They're throwing stuff at me, hot dogs, yelling, "I fucked your mother, you will die, you're a piece of shit, fuck you, Colby." All these words to my dad, throwing stuff at my dad. I had my dad walk out to fight with me, throwing stuff at my dad, my coaches, throwing stuff. This is on the walkout, trying to grab the American flag. They're acting like filthy animals. They're trying to grab me in the crowd when I walk out to the cage. I felt disrespected. They tried to mess me up, and they acted how they acted, and I said what I said, and I don't take anything back.
So it's fair. I mean, there actually was a point to that. It's not just you trying to rally them up for no reason. You had sort of a reason behind it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I always have a reason for why I do something. I say a lot of truth, and I say something because I mean it. There was a reason why I said that. They acted like a bunch of animals, like with what I'm saying. This is what happened before the fight, and, I'm not okay with that. And on fight week 2, it wasn't just at the fight, it's on fight week 2, at the open workouts. I had to have security go with me, and just, they were acting like animals, man.
You've had a couple days to process the fight, what you said. Do you regret anything you said? Your post-fight interview in the cage, calling them what you called them, saying what you said, your formal apology you posted on social media afterwards. Any regrets, or are you happy with what was said?
No regrets in life, man. Never look back, man. I'm only looking forward. I'm only thinking about Tyron Woodley versus Colby Covington in St. Louis, Missouri, first part of next year. He needs me, man. He needs someone like me because, I am a villain. I'm the bad guy now. He needs someone like me, someone that that the fans are going to hate, that they can rally to his side because he plays the victim card and he's always complaining. So, he needs me. Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley for the UFC welterweight title in St. Louis, Missouri.
We'll get to that for sure in a bit, but you said on Twitter right after the day after the fight that you sort of put out a tweet. I don't exactly remember what you said, but it was something sort of questioning, Brazil can throw love, trash at me while I walk out, but I can't say anything back to them. It was sort of along those lines. It sort of seemed like you were a little surprised by the backlash in Brazil from the crowd and also on social media. Is that true? Were you a bit surprised by that?
No, I wasn't surprised. I expected that type of reaction. I'm in this guy's. He's the hero of Brazil. The most successful Brazilian welterweight. He's going to go down. Demian Maia will go in the UFC Hall of Fame. He's a beast, man. He was on a crazy win streak, cleared out the division, and you just saw what I did to him. So I expected them to be like that, but I didn't get in this to make friends. So if some teammates are mad, if Brazil's mad, whatever. Brazil hates me. Oh, big deal. Cry me a river, build a bridge, and walk over it.
A lot of people didn't like what you said, including the crowd, a lot of Brazil. But ultimately, do you think your comments will pay off? Just because even if people don't want to see you win, if people are now your quote haters, maybe they'll still pay to see you, fight Tyron Woodley, and they'll be cheering for Woodley. You're sort of becoming a heel. Do you think ultimately, even though some people didn't like what you said, it's going to pay off? It's going to benefit you, give you bigger opportunities, and financially, it'll lead to more success.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm sort of a heel. I'm probably the most hated guy in MMA right now, and I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that. And yes, 100% that will sell. People want to see me knocked out. They want to see me beat. there's no one in the division to beat me. Not even the champion can beat me. So you might as well put the champion. He might have the best chance, even though he'll be a 2-1 underdog. But yes, a lot of people are going to want to see me hate, and it will be financially advantageous.
Now, I have a great idea. I don't know if you'll agree, but a trip to Brazil with Colby Covington, make it a video series, put it on YouTube or on TV. I think that sells. I think if someone follows you around with a camera, you go down to Brazil, you interact with fans, you go, grocery shopping, you do whatever. Just the daily life in Brazil. I think that's fantastic. What do you think?
I think that I'm going to stay in America. I'm not trying to lose my life. So, yeah, I want to stay alive for as long as I can. I'm trying to live to like 100, I want to live back and remember the times when I won the UFC welterweight title. But Brazil is something I'll probably never go back to. I don't think the UFC is smart. I don't think UFC would be dumb enough to book me to go to Brazil. Maybe. I'm sure it would be a mega event. But, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going back to Brazil.
Interesting. So you don't think UFC will ever say, maybe if, I don't know, anything can happen, you're still young, you have many years left, if you beat Tyron Woodley next year and 2 years down the road you lose the title and then you're back in title contention, you're fighting a Brazilian welterweight title challenger, they don't do that in Brazil? They keep you out of Brazil at all costs?
I would think so. It's going to be a lot of money to afford all the security you're going to need to keep me alive out there.
Very interesting. I guess, as you said, Las Vegas pay-per-views is sort of what you want anyway. So, I guess you're not losing too much anyway. You sort of moved on.
No, I'm not losing anything. That place is a dump. I don't want to ever go back to that place. They were turning out the air conditioning on fight week. I couldn't find a decent meal to eat. I'm not trying to travel there anymore. I'm trying to fight in the U.S. and defend my home soil.
Genuinely, was it difficult fight week just to find food, find weight-cutting supplies?
Yeah, for sure, man. It was so hard, man. All the foods were really salty. They don't really have much chicken over there. It was tough, man. They don't have, I eat Whole Foods organic food every day. So going from Whole Foods eating that every single day year round to eating that crap in Brazil, that dump, it was a completely drastic change. And then they're over there turning out the AC, trying to have my neck sweating and stuff. So it was tough.
A UFC executive said at the post-fight press conference after the card was wrapped up that the UFC was not very happy with what you had said about Brazil, and they of course clarified, the executive of course clarified that still doesn't make it right for fans to throw bottles and other garbage at you, but they didn't seem too thrilled. Have they reached out to you about that? Have they said anything, or do you think that'll sort of just clear itself away and nothing will happen?
Oh, come on, man. That wasn't even that bad. It's going to clear up. Look at what Bisping was doing. He's ripping up the Cuban flag, man. That's way worse. Bisping, come on, dude. Like, this is not that big of a deal. We're all adults. This is the fight business. So let's get over it. Let's move on to the next one, Tyron Woodley.
Well, let's talk about Tyron Woodley. You want him. You've wanted him for a long time. What are your thoughts on your chances of actually fighting him next? Are you confident that that'll be your next fight?
Yes, I'm very confident that'll be my next fight. I knew that going into the Demian Maia fight that if I beat Demian Maia convincingly that I would get the Tyron Woodley fight since he's the last challenger to fight Tyron Woodley. And look how Tyron Woodley looked against him. He looked scared. He backed up. Demian Maia was controlling the cage, backing him up the whole time. Tyron's fighting all defensive, fighting like crap. He looked like shit, man. He needs to go back to Hollywood in these B-list movies that are going to go straight to DVD because he ain't fighting anymore. That guy's boring. He sucks as a champ. So, yeah, I knew that, I will get the next title shot after what I just did to Demian Maia in his home country. And it makes sense to go to Tyron's backyard in St. Louis.
Now, Dana White said not that long ago that the winner of Robbie Lawler versus Rafael dos Anjos, which happens on December 16th, just coming up pretty soon, will get the next title shot. Do you think you did enough to convince him to change his mind? Or what are your thoughts in general about the possibility of Lawler RDA winner getting the next shot above you?
Yeah, I think I definitely convinced him enough and convinced the UFC enough that I am next for Tyron Woodley. There's legitimate bad blood. This isn't just media bullcrap. This is legitimate bad blood. I've been beating this dude's ass for 4 or 5 years in American Top Team. So, that's a legitimate storyline. He needs me. Tyron needs someone like me, a villain, so fans can hate me and rally around him, So, I do think that I did pass those guys up. Man, look at RDA. He's off the juice. He looks like shit. He's beaten 2 guys on losing streaks. Tarek Safdie, 3-fight losing streak. Neil Magny, 3-fight losing streak. And then Lawler is already knocked out in under a minute. So, and also, Lawler ain't gonna come do these interviews. You hear it, he ain't gonna come on this show and do an interview. So, I don't think those guys will pass me up, no matter who wins. I feel like I am next for Tyron Woodley.
Will you fight in your next fight anyone but Tyron Woodley? If the UFC says, hey, Holyfield Dos Anjos is out of the fight in Winnipeg in December, do you want to fight Robbie Lawler? Do you say yes? Do you say no? Do you wait for Tyron Woodley? I know he's still recovering from his surgery. Is there any chance you don't fight Tyron Woodley in your next fight, or are you willing to wait no matter how long it takes?
I'm only focused on Tyron Woodley 100% right now.
So next fight, Tyron Woodley 100%, yes?
Yes, sir. No one else. Only Tyron Woodley.
Even if they book, even if without contacting you, say they book Tyron Woodley versus the winner of Lawler RDA, do you still wait for that winner? No matter what, Woodley next, yes? Even if they don't book you next?
I'm only focused on Tyron Woodley. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm going to take a little time to just kind of hang out back home in Oregon and relax with my family and stuff. So whenever Tyron Woodley wants to do it, we can do it. I don't think that they're going to just book RDA and Lawler.
Right,
that fight's not for what? That fight's for 2 months. So I don't think that's gonna. I think that's going to be a boring fight anyways. It's probably going to turn into 2 old guys in there just not doing too much. So. I'm just focused on Tyron Woodley, but we'll see what happens. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. If something happens, then, I'm a fighter. I love fighting. I'm the best in the world right now, so, I'm just going to wait for Tyron Woodley.
All right. Maia said after the fight that you told him in a private conversation, you said he's a legend, you respect him, and that what you said about him, and Brazil probably for that matter, was just for promotional purposes. Is that true? Did you have that conversation with him, and what was it like?
I didn't say that. I 100% what I meant about Brazil and all their people. So okay. I didn't never say anything to him that I didn't. But to him, I said he's cool. He's a nice guy. How can you not respect the guy? He's a good dude. So nothing. He's cool. He's cool in my book.
When do you plan on getting back to South Florida and ATT next?
I'm probably going to go out to UFC New York this weekend with Dan Lambert and ATT. Go hang out and then go do some pro wrestling with the Impact Wrestling show the next week. So I'll probably get back to ATT in the next couple weeks.
Are you at all concerned about, of course, as you mentioned earlier, some of your teammates or gym mates, because I know you don't necessarily train with fighters like Amanda Nunes and Bigfoot Silva, but there are a number of fighters, including ex-head coach Ricardo Laborio and also Dean Thomas, who happens to be Woodley's head coach. They talked about they weren't too thrilled with what you had said. Are you worried or concerned at all about going back to ATT and just sort of reaction that could come from some of your gym mates?
Not worried in the least bit. And Ricardo Laborio is a joke. That guy's been out of ATT for over 2-3 years. That guy's a complete joke trying to use my name and my fame and the stuff in Brazil to put him over and make him look like the good guy from ATT, his departure. He's been out of ATT for a while. He was using Dan Lambert, the ATT owner. He was using Dan. He was picking up these paychecks 2 or 3 years ago, never showing up to work. That guy's a complete con man. He's a scumbag. And he's acting like a piece of shit trying to use my name to put him over. So, I don't care about what he thinks. But as far as other ATT people, I don't care what they think either. I'm ATT to the bone. I have my close circle of people, my clique, Jorge Masvidal, Mike Brown, John Hartnett, Dan Lambert. But, I'm not friends with everybody. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a gym, but it's a one-man sport.
Who are your main coaches at ATT right now? You mentioned Mike Brown. I know you also work with Chuck Eisen as well, right? Maybe a little Billy Patton. Who do you mainly work with at ATT?
My main people are, Mike Brown. I work with Chuck in the boxing, Billy and those guys. My main striking coach is in Miami. His name's Paulino Hernandez. He's the same striking coach as George's. He's ATT, but yeah, he's my main striking coach. Mike Brown's my main jiu-jitsu and MMA coach, and that's really it. I don't really have any other coaches. I get my sparring partners, and we do our thing. But, I got a really good strength and conditioning coach, Phil DeRue, and Jeremy Fedoruk. Jeremy Fedoruk with Athlete Enhancement Group, but he's also ATT. So, I got my good group of private people, my small clique. I think it's important to keep a small group. You don't need a big group. People are always going to try and use you and do bad things. So, I don't care about anybody else. I have my people. They know what I'm doing. They respect what I'm doing. And we're going to go win the world title.
And, it seems like everybody from ATT who spoke out against you and responded negatively to what you had said, none of those people are in your small group that you just mentioned. I suppose, so ultimately it doesn't really matter what others think. As long as, Jorge Masvidal doesn't go out there talking bad about you. I mean, everything's good if people that you aren't working with are saying whatever. I mean, that doesn't really matter. Is that true?
Exactly, man. I'm glad that you get it. I mean, all the other people are trying to make a big deal out of it. I'm glad that you got the point, and that's all that matters. Because George, he already is laughing about it, and he's it's cool, and all those other people, they didn't say anything about it. So these are just more haters. It is what it is. They're jealous. They're haters, and they're marks. At the end of the day, all these people are just marks. So yeah.
American Top Team is a massive gym. It's a massive place. They always bring people over from overseas, and there's many people that come in from elsewhere and start training there. What are your thoughts in general about that, about training at such a large gym? I know some coaches from there have told me recently that it's become almost too commercialized, and as a result, some people have left. It's almost too big now. What are your thoughts on that, and is that sort of why you really like to keep to your small group?
Yeah, my thoughts are that it is what it is. It's a great gym, the best trainers, the best training facilities. The best dude in the world runs the gym. Dan Lambert's a great guy, super humble, just super nice, always caring and helpful and trying to get guys the best training and get the best for all the fighters. He does so much behind the scenes that people don't know that to help the fighters. So, it's a great place. And there's always going to be cliques. Everywhere you go, there's going to be cliques. There's going to be people that gravitate towards each other. We have different people from different countries. So, people are going to take sides. So it is what it is. You're just seeing people take sides from what happened with my incident in Brazil last weekend.
Alrighty. Well, Colby, any last message for anyone? Brazil, Tyron Woodley, ATT, former coaches, whoever, teammates, anyone, anything you feel like I didn't ask you about or I didn't cover, floor is yours. Otherwise, let everybody know where they can find you on social media and plug away any thank you, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Tyron, Tyron Woodley, you can either give me what I want or I'll take what I want. Either way, that belt will be mine. Woodley, all you are is a kiss ass. I'm over here kicking ass. That's why we're different, because you're a kiss ass, I'm a kick ass. You stay in Hollywood kissing all these asses of all these celebrities, getting your little B-list movies that are going straight to DVD. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll come to St. Louis and give you an ass whoop and put you into retirement. Tyron Woodley versus Colby Covington, St. Louis, Missouri, first quarter of next year. And shout out to My Lee Restaurant in St. Louis. They're a great restaurant. Go check them out when I beat Woodley's ass in St. Louis. And thank you to American Top Team and Dan Lambert and John Hartnett. And my team, obviously. Mike Brown, Jorge Masvidal, Paulino Hernandez, Chuck, Jeremy. And follow my journey at Colby Cov MMA.